Namaste बिटिया हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया A very good morning to you all. Myself JVN Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine at Faculty of Homeopathic Science in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In this series of the urinary diseases, we will be discussing about glomerulonephritis. So, glomerulonephritis is a big topic and will be covered in 3 lectures. So this is the first lecture of glomerulonephritis in which we will be discussing about the nephrotic syndrome. Glomerulonephritis is a very big disease and it covers many disorders. So let's discuss them one by one. Now, glomerular diseases. What are the glomerular diseases? The glomerular diseases accounts for a significant proportion of acute and chronic kidney diseases. So there are a significant proportion of acute and chronic kidney diseases, and glomerular damage can be due to immunological injury, inherited abnormality that is known as the Alport syndrome. We have metabolic stress, that is diabetes mellitus. We have deposition of extraneous material, that is amyloid, and there is a direct injury to the glomerular cells. So glomerular diseases are, they account for the significant proportion of acute and chronic kidney disease that we have already discussed. And glomerular damage can be due to the immunological injury, inherited abnormality like Alport syndrome. We have metabolic stress, that is diabetes mellitus, deposition of extraneous materials, example amyloid, and we have direct injury to the glomerular cells. Now, what are the different characteristics of glomerular diseases? The characteristics includes leakage of the cells and macromolecules across the glomerular filtration barrier. The clinical features includes proteinuria, hematuria. Proteinuria is protein in blood. Hematuria is proteinuria is protein in urine. Hematuria is blood in urine. Loss of filtration capacity, that is GFR, is reduced, and hypertension. So we have 4 clinical features: proteinuria, hematuria, loss of filtration capacity, that is GFR, and hypertension. The response to glomerular injury varies according to the nature of insult. So the response, how the glomeruli responds, it depends upon the nature of the insult, that is the nature of the injury that is occurring. One extreme specific injury to the podocytes causes proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. So we have one extreme specific injury, that is to the podocyte can cause proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. At the other spectrum, this is a basically spectrum. At one spectrum we have nephrotic syndrome, and at the other spectrum inflammation leads to cell damage and proliferation. There is breaks from the glomerular basement membrane and blood leaks into the urine. The extreme form with acute sodium retention and hypertension disease called as nephritic syndrome. So in the glomerular diseases, we have 2 extremes. At one extreme, we have nephrotic syndrome, and at the other extreme, we have nephritic syndrome. And all the diseases, all the changes that are occurring in the glomerular basement membrane or the glomeruli consist of glomerular diseases. So this is the extreme, 2 extreme. In one extreme we have nephrotic syndrome, and the other extreme we have nephritic syndrome. And in between, all the things that are coming consist of the glomerular diseases. So all these things we will be discussing one by one. Nephrotic syndrome is characterized by injury to the podocytes that causes changes in the architecture, scarring, deposition of the matrix or the same elements. And in nephrotic syndrome, we have greater amount of proteinuria and very less amount of hematuria. At the other extreme, we have the nephritic syndrome, and it has the inflammation, reactive cell proliferation, breakdown in the GBM, glomerular basement membrane, and cretin formation. It is characterized by great amount of hematuria and very less amount of proteinuria. In between, we have all these changes in which we have SLE, we have IgA nephropathy, we have minimal change nephropathy, FSGS, membranous nephropathy, amyloid, diabetic nephropathy, we have MCGM, post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, small vessel vasculitis, and anti-GBM, and then we have nephritic syndrome. So all these things are included in the glomerular diseases or glomerulonephritis. All these things we will be studying in the 3 lectures. So this is the first one, and in the next 2 we are going to finish all these things all together. Now, what is glomerulonephritis? Glomerulonephritis is the inflammation of the glomeruli, which are structures in the kidney and that are made up of tiny blood vessels. So glomerulonephritis is basically the inflammation of the glomeruli, which are the structures in the kidney that are made up of tiny blood vessels. These knots of vessels help to filter your blood and remove the excess of fluid. If the glomeruli are damaged, the kidneys stop working properly and it may lead to the kidney failure. So if the glomeruli are damaged, then the kidneys stop functioning and it can lead to the kidney failure. Now the presentations of glomerular diseases. So there are 3 different presentations. First, we have nephrotic syndrome, which is characterized by increased proteinuria. Next, we have nephritic syndrome, that is characterized by increased hematuria. And the third one is progressive renal failure. So in nephrotic syndrome, we have the clinical features of proteinuria, that is greater than 3.5 grams of protein per day. We have hypoproteinemia, we have edema, and we have hyperlipidemia. In the nephritic syndrome or hematuria, we have hematuria, lesser amount of proteinuria, and hypertension. And the third one is the progressive renal failure. So let's start with the nephrotic syndrome. In this chapter, we are going to finish the nephrotic syndrome, and rest we will be doing in the next 2 lectures. So nephrotic syndrome is a clinical condition in which there is edema. We have proteinuria, we have hypoproteinemia, irrespective of the etiology or any other additional abnormal clinical features. So nephrotic syndrome is a clinical condition that is characterized by edema, proteinuria, and hypoproteinemia. 3 things are most important. Edema is there, proteinuria is there, and hypoproteinemia is there, irrespective of the etiology or any other additional abnormal clinical features. Nephrotic syndrome is a condition that is characterized by heavy proteinuria of greater than 3.5 grams per 1.73 meters square body surface area in 24 hours. It is associated with hypoalbuminemia, edema, hyperlipidemia, and hypercoagulable state. So we have hypoalbuminemia, edema, hyperlipidemia, and hypercoagulable state. Now, what is the etiology of nephrotic syndrome? We have 3 things. Idiopathic, that is when the cause is not known for the development of nephrotic syndrome. We have 2 other things like primary glomerular disease and secondary glomerular disease. So primary glomerular disease, that is due to the diseases of glomeruli itself, and secondary causes includes the other causes outside the glomeruli that are responsible for the development of nephrotic syndrome. So in primary glomerular disease, we have minimal change disease, that is minimal change nephropathy. We have focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. We have membranous nephropathy, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, and IgA nephropathy. So in primary, we have minimal change disease, focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, membranous nephropathy, and membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, and IgA nephropathy. In secondary, we have infections, various kind of infections like bacterial infections, viral infections, protozoal, helminthic, etc. In the neoplasm, we have various kind of solid tumors, which includes lung, stomach, breast, leukemia, etc. Next, we have the drugs that can lead to the development of nephrotic syndrome, which includes NSAIDs, penicillamine, gold, mercury, etc. Then we have multisystem diseases like SLE, rheumatoid arthritis, and amyloidosis. Next, we have familial and metabolic diseases like diabetes mellitus, Graves' disease, etc. And the last one is the miscellaneous, that is preeclampsia, malignant nephrosclerosis, obesity, etc. So we have infections, neoplasm, drugs, multisystem disease, familial and metabolic diseases, and miscellaneous that are responsible for these are the secondary causes for development of nephrotic syndrome. Now, what are the different clinical features of nephrotic syndrome? The clinical features of nephrotic syndrome includes, it depends on the age and sex. Like nephrotic syndrome is common in childhood with a peak incidence of 2 to 3 years of age. Male is to female ratio is 2.5:1 and it is equal in adults. We have edema, that is peripheral edema, in the lower limbs, with face and abdomen are affected in children. There is generalized anasarca. Gastrointestinal symptoms includes anorexia with severe malnutrition. We have diarrhea and vomiting due to edema of intestinal wall. The general symptoms includes anorexia, lethargy, tiredness, frequent infections, and muscle wasting. We have dyspnea that can occur, and we have the symptoms of blood pressure, that is hypertension. So clinical features, it is more common in childhood, and peak incidence is 2 to 3 years. Male is to female ratio 2.5 is to 1, and equal in adults. Edema is present in nephrotic syndrome, that is peripheral edema, especially in the lower limbs, face, abdomen are affected in children. There is generalized anasarca. In the GI symptoms, there is anorexia with severe malnutrition, there is diarrhea, vomiting due to edema and intestinal wall. The general symptoms of nephrotic syndrome includes anorexia, lethargy, tiredness, frequent infections and muscle wasting. There is dyspnea that can occur, and blood pressure, that is hypertension. Now, what are the various lab findings that you will see in case of nephrotic syndrome? In urine, we will see polyuria. There will be proteinuria greater than 5 grams per day. There will be presence of cast with fatty acids. In blood, there will be anemia with normochromic, hypoalbuminemia, and hyperlipoproteinemia. And renal biopsy can be done for examination for the diagnosis of nephrotic syndrome. Biopsy is very essential. Now, what is the prognosis of nephrotic syndrome? 90% of the children respond to prednisolone. That is, the prognosis is very good. In adult, response rate is 60%, and the relapse rate of nephrotic syndrome is very high. Now, the management of nephrotic syndrome. The general management includes fluid restrictions, because edema is there, so we have to restrict the fluid. We have to give low sodium diet. We have to advise rest to the patient, and it helps in controlling the edema. Corticosteroids are given. It produces rapid and complete remission. Immunosuppressive drugs like cyclophosphamide is also given for the management of nephrotic syndrome. So we have general measures which include fluid restrictions, low sodium diet, rest, that helps in controlling edema, corticosteroids, and immunosuppressive drugs. So this was all about nephrotic syndrome. In the next lecture, we will continue with glomerulonephritis, with nephritic syndrome, and the spectrum. We will be covering the spectrum of the glomerulonephritis and all the diseases that are coming in the spectrum of nephrotic and nephritic syndrome. Everything will be covered. That includes primary glomerulonephropathies. So this session was powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will be meeting in the next lecture tomorrow.